Hi, welcome to First Issue Club. We're your weekly comic book podcast where, just like Sue Storm, we love a good read. We're Mike, Vargas, and Greg. But who are you, dear listener? Sometimes I wonder. Actually, I know about where you fall. I know where you rank in the scheme of things. Number 1, Heath Ledger. Number 2, Jared Leto. Number 3,
Name another one.
Jack. Jack, baby. Number 4, you jokers. You're the 4th Joker in all this.
Collectively.
Wow. Above Cesar Romero.
4th greatest of all time, above Cesar Romero. Collectively, the Fic fans are the Jokers that we love. 4th most.
Is this the official ranking of
Greatest Jokers of all time. Number 4, First Issue Club listeners.
Above Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Are we including? So we're including animated.
Is he a Joker?
Ooh, fair enough.
Wow, when
Checkmate.
you put it that way.
Checkmate. When you put it in that tone of voice.
You're listening to the weekly comic book reading club that is sponsored by Space Camper Cosmic IPA, our favorite beer in the universe, and the beer that's responsible for bringing you this show. Thank you, Boulevard Brewing Company and Space Camper Cosmic IPA, for getting us a great beverage and making our show possible.
Yum, yum, give me some down on my tum-tum. Space Camper IPA. It's not a beer, it's a journey. To continue on the Boulevard conversation, our dear friend Adam Hall will be here next week to debut some new Space Camper. I don't know. I don't want to say installments.
Yep.
But characters, flavors,
think
new
he'll-
favorite IPAs.
You think he'll let us shotgun them? Or do
Yeah.
we have to drink them like adults?
I think as an adult, you get to choose how you drink the beverage. That's what makes you an adult.
I'm going to Stone Cold Steve Austin them.
Let me just cover this room in plastic
Yeah, Dexter style.
before next week. Yeah.
So Adam will be here next week to
Great.
debut those and to talk more about Planet Comic Con, which is coming up in 2 weeks, and we're excited for that. We had the new games done. As far as content, material, we're hashing that out right now.
Yep.
You submitted stuff for our koozie, for our banner.
Pull-up banner. We're going to have one of
So
those.
cool.
We're going to be total professionals at Comic-Con for the first time.
I'm really excited to really document our.
Ascension to banner people.
Well, yeah, now we're bannermen. We're the banner folks.
Much like Betsy Ross.
Yeah,
We love a banner.
we love a
good
good banner.
But we
Oh, that was your joke. I stole it.
I don't know. We're gonna showcase the con more. We're gonna do videos and pictures over on our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a free tier on the Patreon. So go over there, patreon.com/firstissueclub. We just did our monthly live stream, which you can go watch now. Mm-hmm. In retrospect, I don't know if that's any fun to people. Do people rewatch live stream?
Hey, at one point in time, this was live, and you jokers are listening to it.
You
See what I'm saying about
you
them?
number 4 jokers. In any case, that's all I wanted to say. Next week's show is going to be great. This show's good right now that we're doing.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But next week's show,
Straight fire.
yeah, ranked 2 on the Joker level.
What happened in comic books this a week?
Well, so we promised you, specifically Mike D,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
nay Jokers,
I'm going to pull them up.
there were some supposed leaked concept art for the new Doom movie.
Okay.
The Avengers Doomsday or whatever.
Secret
right?
Wars. No. Avengers Doomsday?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Is that the actual title? Do we know if that's like a tentative title?
No, Doomsday is the first one, and then Secret Wars is
then
the
right
next.
into Secret Wars.
Okay. I'm a
In
little
any
bummed
case.
hearing that. I want to get to Secret Wars. I want to know what the heck they're doing with Secret Wars.
Well, listen, you have to get your main course before you get the dessert, Mike D.
Zack Snyder would argue you could just do it all in one go, babe.
Well,
One four-hour movie.
I don't know if I would really take his method of delivery. He's the guy at Golden Corral that's dipping everything in a chocolate fountain.
Yeah.
So, there's Andy's pulling them up right now, but
Now I see what you're talking about.
there's like 4 or 5 pictures, right?
There's 4 in this one I'm looking at.
Okay, so the first one.
Okay, and let me
Okay.
again get some more context before my peepers get on top of these. These are You guys are deep in thought.
Nope.
No, we're not.
Yeah. Shut up.
That's never happened.
We're not sure if these are real or not. Or are these fully debunked fake?
Even if they're real, concept art does not make
Oh,
to
Right.
the movie.
it's just art.
And
Okay.
and the main point I wanted to do this for is when these were supposedly leaked and hit the internet, the social media stratosphere was like overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like these were like proof and concept of like what's going to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that is not the case.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, it kind of blew my mind. I'm just like, even if these are real, this is concept art.
right.
This is nothing real. This is like
Yeah.
someone's doodles at Marvel Studios. Nothing about this is going to be real.
Yeah. People are like, it looks so fake. Dr. Doom's cape is pencil.
It looks like they did this with like color pencil or something. It's so stupid. But I wanted to get your take on it because there's some interesting aspects to it that I'd love to get your take on.
So that's the first one. It's Dr. Doom. Looks like he's in court, probably in Latveria.
Yes.
It's like God Emperor
Yeah.
Doom. Is
Yeah.
what people
He's
are
wearing
saying.
a white cloak.
He's on a throne.
Uh-huh.
And what I liked about that is like it looks great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no really wild swings.
It's very like old country, like you kind of expect Latveria to look. Like I do like in the comics the Latveria aesthetic of like this could be Renaissance era, except there's a man in
It's a magic man in a suit.
there's a magic man with a suit of iron. Yeah.
Sounds like a heart song.
I think that looks cool. I see this and I think, yeah, I'm excited for this.
Okay.
All right.
That's
Next.
so panoramic.
And that's the most basic photo.
Yeah. Next
Okay.
one. That's all there is.
Whoa. White Vision hanging out with Star-Lord.
With Star-Lord.
Right. Just palling around.
Palling around.
No real
No context.
context to why they're doing
watching
this.
TV on a couch.
Very much like Thor when he's like gained a bunch of weight and like is depressed. Kind of like the same vibe I'm feeling with like White Vision. Like Star-Lord's there to like cheer him up,
Yeah, they're in a living room.
get him
Yeah.
out of his funk.
Teach him about the world, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Have those two met in the MCU otherwise? I don't think they have.
White Vision's literally been in for a fight at the end of
Well, that's true.
Agatha or wouldn't.
WandaVision.
WandaVision, yeah.
But Star-Lord has met Vision. They all met in,
In
the
one
Avengers
of these like big
Infinity War.
big Infinity War type things.
Everyone was there for that.
But was Vision?
Yeah.
Vision got killed at the end of the first Avengers.
Oh, that's
movie.
right. He had
got
his thing ripped out. So no.
Was Star-Lord on
Was he on Earth for that? I don't
know.
Earth for that? I don't
No,
think
he got left on Titan.
This is what everybody
Yeah.
tunes in for.
Yeah.
Is us
trying to
kind of
remember
remembering things
Remembering
that you
the
probably
order.
that you
a
know
movie that we
already.
said we loved.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next one. It's kind of the same. It's a close up
Yeah.
of Doom on the throne.
That's sick.
Looks
Yeah.
exactly like how you want it to
That's
look.
what you want him to look like.
Dark, brooding,
Cape.
thinking something evil,
The
plotting.
fur. I love the
The
fur.
fur is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just make it Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's very Game of Thronesy.
And here's the picture that made everybody lose their minds.
Okay.
A lot of nudity. Preemptive
Very
warning.
Game of Thronesy.
Yeah. and this is what makes me think this is fake.
Oh, wait.
Look at the cast of characters there. Carefully.
Oh my god. It took me so long to notice dupe.
So hold on, Wong, Star-Lord, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye,
I don't know who that is.
Is it?
It's America,
Is that America Chavez right there in the middle?
right? Let me see.
Oh, I don't know.
But then it's Speed, Wiccan,
Kamala
Oh,
Khan.
no.
Kamala Khan, and Dupe.
That's Stature. That's
Stature. Okay. Oh, Cassie Kane.
Cassie Kane.
Cassie Lang.
Cassie Lang.
Cassie Lang.
Wiccan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're
basically
saying
the
Young,
Young
Avengers might debut.
Yeah,
during-
I'm assuming we're
during
supposed
this.
to think that's
It's Speed.
Speed. Yeah, they're all doing Speed.
The funny thing is that like Haley Steinfeld's going to be like 30 by the time this comes
They're
out.
all going to be 30.
Yeah. They're supposed to be like teenagers. Movies take a long time to make.
Movie magic, baby.
Yeah.
They're all going to take Ozempic and like really fit and young.
Yeah, Dupe is immediately like, that's fake.
Yeah. There's no way that Dupe gets into a movie.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
I mean, that would be fantastic.
And it would be an easy addition into the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it with Groot. Why not Dupe?
Yeah.
It doesn't really take much to make that character just kind of a bit character to have around.
Okay, who voices Dupe?
Noel Fielding,
Matt Berry.
Jim Carrey,
Ben Schwartz.
Maria Bamford.
He does his BB-8 sort of stuff. Just the It also he does speak nonsense.
Me.
Some people
Oh, sure.
Some people can understand it.
Frank Oz.
Okay, here's the only possible rationale for this is that instead of they're using the X-Force idea of them being TV celebrities, but they're using it on Young Avengers. So Dupe is the cameraman for Young Avengers, the reality show.
Like they did with, was that New Champions during
I
Civil
love that.
War?
I kind of dig that.
I don't know if they did it with New Champions, but they did it with X-Force and Ecstatics.
Yeah.
Ecstatics.
Were
yeah.
both reality TV
right.
shows that Dupe was the camera person for,
I do love that.
or camera creature for.
My other assumption was they're trying to get us comfortable with Battle World, wherein like they're just smacking everything. Like we're gonna get a lot of weird one-offs.
Yeah.
In this little Battle World scenario.
That whole thing surprises me because I think the message we were getting from what's his face, the head of
Feige?
Disney.
Michael
Walt
Eisner.
Disney.
Yeah, that he was just like, it's too much stuff.
Yeah.
We need to simplify this again. And the idea of just like throwing all the TV people together in like a big title movie is kind of contrary to this idea that like maybe we want more intimate personal pieces for a while again and do more like these prestige movies instead of throwaway battle scenes. Because like you were saying, when you were talking about Brave New World a couple weeks ago, you were like, some of the action scenes were the least exciting
Right.
and most empty parts of it.
Yeah.
Whereas the plot and the thriller nature, the very genre moments of it is where it soars.
Yeah.
And do they get back to doing genre movies with Marvel characters? We kind of all assumed after hearing what's his butt again, Eisner. Say he wanted to correct the ship with Marvel stuff. That's kind of what I thought he meant.
I assumed that meant getting rid of a ton of TV shows and just focusing on movies in general.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's a lot of TV Marvel characters showing up, but we're all in one space now. You know what I mean? Like, we're all watching the same screen.
Yeah.
We don't have to watch multiple different screens to understand what something's going. Like, that's fine with me. Like, because I watched all the TV shit. So
You're saying put everyone in it, but make the TV part optional.
yeah.
Well,
Or they're just going to assume that you've seen it.
and do less TV stuff.
You can't put Wiccan in any of this stuff without you having seen Agatha all along.
Well, they probably looked at that TV show did very well for them.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to assume a lot of people have already seen this stuff.
Well, and there's been talk of Hawkeye season 2, which I think is interesting.
I think
but with
go
Kate
ahead.
Bishop instead of Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. They'll probably.
How is he, by the way?
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
He's alive, which is
That's what I mean. Like, he
fucking
wasn't that
miracle.
terrible.
Yeah.
snowblower accident.
Yeah, like he got ran over, basically.
Yeah.
Terrible. Not good.
Terrible. Wretched. Quick prayers to Jeremy Renner and that snowplow.
That's right. Well,
So, wait. From seeing those, do you think they're real?
no, I don't, actually.
Okay.
No
No follow-ups, because that's...
I don't have it. Like to Greg's point, it almost doesn't matter if they're real.
Yeah.
because it's concept art.
And
Also, shit getting leaked from Marvel is a not happening situation.
And let me say this. Those also, given the fidelity of concept art, any random person on the internet, we could go to some AI site and say, give me a picture of the Vision and Star-Lord chilling on a couch watching TV.
and it would shit out that picture.
And it would just poop out that picture.
I've still never done that kind of... Like, I've never made an AI photo before in my life.
I haven't either, because I'm kind of like
Can it be that easy?
morally
It is that
opposed to
easy.
it. But I've seen people do it, and it is like crazy how fast it even happens.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
unreal.
so weird. I get why people are obsessed with it.
Yeah. It's really sad. I had a buddy who was like showing me this that had an account with one of the premium paid for ones, Mid-Journey. And he was like, he was like, let's make a comic book cover. And he was like, you could say, I want this specific thing, that specific thing in the style of blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, there it is. It's messed up.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah. Automate my job, not the things that are fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Make your job easier.
yeah.
I'm like, I want my job still.
No. I would just want AI to do my job
I
for
don't-
me
I
while I
don't.
still get paid.
I don't want a job. Take my job, make it so I could be a bard.
Yeah,
and
but,
travel
but you
town
still
to
get
town.
paid for the AI doing
Well,
your
people
job.
toss a coin
Oh, sure.
as I'm traveling down the road, sure. Maybe I hook up with a Witcher and
I would
do
toss a
some
coin your
battling.
way. Only if you sang a song of my tales.
Can we all agree that the bard in that show was jacked to the nines?
Yeah.
He was looking good. I would toss a coin to that.
You would toss a coin to him?
Toot sweet. I want to talk about Hush 2. Specifically, I want to talk about the Hush 2 trailer.
Have you seen the
that
trailer?
they
No, I don't think
had
so.
decided needed to be made?
Yeah.
It's like they thought they had got Larry Bird and Michael Jordan back together again for one more one-on-one game. The tone, how they shot the whole thing. You start with like an empty couch, like in a backlit movie, like studio, and you're just like, hold on, what am I about to watch? First of all,
Yep.
and then you get hit with the line of just like the most anticipated sequel to the greatest comic book event
Of all time.
in history, and I was like,
That's a bold statement.
right, it's just like, how good do you think Hush was? Because
Yeah.
like it was fine at best. There's a lot of revisionist history.
The words on screen made it seem like they were about to announce Watchmen 2.
Yeah, like Alan Moore has come out of retirement.
Yeah, right.
It's just like, I have an idea for the comedian. It's just like everyone's back the fuck up. But it's just like,
But then Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee walk out.
yeah,
That's like, and they
plop
sit on the
themselves on the couch.
Yeah.
We're back.
Hush 2.
Yeah. You've all been asking for it, Mike Wazowski. Like, it's just like,
Neither of them sound like that.
who's ready for this? And it's just like, no one. Like people like in the audience, no one wants this. And it's just, I don't get this fabricated
Hype.
excitement for this sequel to a series that happened 10, 15 years ago.
20, 25 years ago.
Is that right? Has it been that long?
And it's been, I would say 15. I'm going to go with 15 hard.
He's got a phone.
I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
But it seems like they are misremembering how popular Hush was. Or like, since Jim Lee's, I don't know, kind of the boss at DC.
Yeah, right.
He's like,
Everybody was telling him, oh, they loved it.
Hush, literally Hush saved comics, Jim.
October 2002.
Oh, wow.
Was when Hush started.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
23 years.
That's how prominent it was. People remember when it came out.
I think people are just excited about Jim Lee doing Batman interiors.
Yeah.
That's what people are excited about.
I would be more excited for Jim Lee 2003 to be doing a Hush sequel. I don't know if I'm super pumped to see
2025 Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do
Crank
think
out a
there's
Hush too.
there are a cranky, I'm gonna big air quotes here, comic book fans who are like, I can finally buy comics again.
Yeah.
Like there are people on Reddit who are just like, I'll never buy a comic that's not drawn by Jim Lee. Everything should look like Jim Lee.
I haven't read a comic in 15 years because they're shit. It's like, well, how do you know that? You haven't read a comic book in 15 years,
right.
dumbass.
I bet a lot of people will buy this. I bet.
Well, yeah, this is Death of Superman. Like, people will come out of the woodworks because they're just like, I remember this
You're
thing.
being sincere. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
Not sincere, but I'm making a comparison.
Yeah. This was a thing that got people to come out to the
Yeah.
comic shops and be like, I need to check that out.
Bring back old fans.
I haven't read comics in a minute. I'm trying to think of one of the more recent things like that. Like, I guess the Doomsday Clock.
Doomsday Clock was huge.
I have
And that should be a tale of...
I remember a lot of randos who had just like did not know how to comic book shop. Were just like, so how does this work?
One Doomsday Clock, please.
Which is great.
You have to wait 6 months.
I think that's awesome. If like Jim Lee as he doesn't owe us anything, but as a steward of comics, I think it's great that he's taken it upon himself to say, I'm going to get people back in local comic shops by working on interiors again, and we're going to film this corny hype video, but what it's going to do is get shared on social media and get people who haven't gone to a comic shop in 15 years into a comic shop to buy the new Jim Lee Batman book.
Right.
Like, I think it serves its purpose. To us, everyday comic readers, is it very eye-rolling? Like, 100% it is. But I see the altruism in what Jim is trying to do here.
Well, and they got Jeff Loeb out of his cryogenic chamber.
Yeah. But honestly, if you're saying like a return to form, like back for like one of the classics, I think that sentiment is more appropriate for this like last Halloween comic they're doing,
right?
Than it is for Hush coming back.
Yeah.
Which was also Jeff Loeb,
Yes.
right? Yeah. If it was, I mean, if Tim Sale hadn't passed away, then I'd assume he'd be doing Last Halloween. And
You would hope.
Well, he did all the covers for it.
yes, and I was wondering, are the covers like commissions and like old work that people are trying to surface?
No, my understanding was
he actually was working on the covers at the time.
they were actually trying to do this book
Okay.
when Tim Sale passed away.
Okay.
And he got through like covers and some interiors
Okay.
and then passed away.
Wild.
So they got an artist
Yeah.
per issue to like do the story.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is more exciting than a follow-up to Hush.
I've dug Last Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm not finished with it yet, but I've liked what I've read so far. 4 issues in, maybe.
I'm more of a fan of Last Christmas.
I'm behind.
Hey, when was the last time you read Hush?
21 years ago?
Stop. Have you ever read it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm generally curious.
I did a little like probably 10 years ago. I did some like catching up on some Batman, newer classics that I'd never read. So I read All Star
Hell yeah.
Batman.
Goddamn Batman.
I read Batman Incorporated.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hush, and then I read some of the. Did I read? Was this when I read the Court of Owls thing, or was that later? Is that even more recent?
The young generation loves Court of Owls.
Yeah, Court of Owls is gonna be
that was Scott Snyder's first arc.
That's gonna be a thing in like another 10 years, where that's gonna be like a.
It's a thing.
Total
now.
It's
classic.
already a thing.
You think it's already a classic?
That's going to be the next Matt Reeves.
It's going to
Batman
age.
movie.
Yeah.
It's aging well.
Yeah.
I'll say that. But
Mr. Bloom, not so much.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, I can barely tell you a thing about Batman Incorporated or Hush anymore. But like, I remember being like cool to all of them.
Grant Morrison.
I know. I'm fully aware.
Yeah.
But it's like at the time, Hush was kick ass. It was like awesome. Like it had some sweet reveals. It had Jim Lee, which was like huge. This was like just after his Superman run, or is it? Did he go Batman into Superman?
They were so close together.
I think it was. Oh, it was Hush, and then like it was a huge advertising blitz of just like now he's doing Superman.
Okay.
But it's just like I feel like the reason it was so impactful, and this is my last Hush take, is because it was new, right? Mm-hmm. We have Jim Lee coming in here doing like some dynamic shit, like unannounced, just like surprising everyone. So it feels kind of weird to be like, hey, I'm back. Like, hey, I'm doing it again. Like, the surprise is gone, but I'm going to be doing this thing again. And it's like, it takes the wind out of the sails for me of just like, I'm going to be expecting something. I'm going to be expecting some weird twist or turn. And I wasn't with the original Hush storyline.
So I think the reason they're doing it is Mike's exactly right.
Yeah.
But it would have been, to Greg's point, way cooler if they'd have just been like, oh, it's Batman number 158, and it's a writer that you know and an artist that you know, but we're keeping it. It's going to be a surprise.
Close to the chest.
And then they just like on the release day of Batman 158, like you open the box and it's like, oh, it's Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb and it's Hush 2.
That would have fucked over FOC.
Sure.
What they should have done, I like your thinking, they should have done not telling anyone, Comics Pro, announce what's happening, and then that gives like retailers and consumers a month to order it.
Yeah.
Like, it's done.
Yeah.
There's going to be no wait times because like chips out, fractions coming in later.
Yeah.
But in between, we're going to get sequel to Hush. But like a quick, like no prep time, just like boom, like random hit.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is going to be a thing moving forward, because between Tynion and Zdarsky, they had Josh Williamson come in and do like 8 issues or so. It was like a really...
He did like an arc, like 10 or 12.
Yeah, he did a short amount of
pre-Hush.
issues.
Hush is prime.
It's just, shh.
Yeah. It was, come down.
Who did Shush? Was that Josh Williamson?
That was Josh Williamson in Batman and Robin.
Yes.
The current Batman and Robin run.
Shush.
Shush.
Shush your mouth.
You think Hush and Shush are going to team up?
Oh, God.
I remember I thought you were
The Quiet Twins.
joking for so long when you were explaining Hush to me when we heard that news. Shush, I mean.
You could not come up with a different name for that character.
She-Hush.
That is the only name that character could possibly have.
It is funny. It is almost like, it's like you're sitting in a room and someone has the idea and you're like, well, we have to do that.
Someone's just like leaning back in the chair, just like, let's call him Shush.
Just like, let's call it a day.
Yeah. And everyone's like, Quiznos?
We've put in a good day's work.
Yeah.
Drinks are on me? Like, let's go. Ugh. So that's my Hush rant. I'm done with it.
Excited to talk about it. We should try to cover that, even though it's not going to be a first issue.
Oh, we will be covering it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Jokers out there listening.
I think it's going to be good, not great. It's not going to be an earth-shattering Batman run.
That's the best they can hope for. Good, not great.
It's Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. They have gas in the tank to make a good, not great story, regardless of what it is.
Would you be more excited if they were like, we're introducing a new villain?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Okay.
Because, I mean, Batman does that all the time, and it always irritates me. Because the issue always sells out, and then it's a nothing burger, and then I have a gap in my Batman run.
Here's what would eclipse my anticipation and actually get me very excited to buy more Batman comics. If they announced that Tynion was coming back,
Oh, yeah.
I would lose it. I would lose my mind because he could finally wrap up some of his.
I love
Character
so
stuff.
many of the characters he introduced.
Yeah, I was going to say, when was the last time you saw Miracle Molly?
Yeah. The Gardener.
Clown Killer, Designer,
Ghost Maker?
Clown Hunter.
Yep.
Yeah. All those guys.
He introduced like
Punchline.
18 people.
Punchline survived.
Punchline was one of the better ones.
Tell me what Punchline is doing right now in comics.
Is she in jail?
Listening to
She's fighting Godzilla, you guys.
probably
Like everyone else in comic books.
they needed an emo version of Harley Quinn, and they got Punchline.
And they got Punchline.
Moving on.
Panic at the Disco, Harley Quinn. We're going to talk about comics now
Yay!
of the first issue variety. This week, I made it out to a comic book shop, and I purchased...
Whoa!
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you have a Tales from the Shop?
Do I have his Tales from the Shop? Okay, there's an old grumpy man who used to work at this shop, and he has since sold it. And I haven't been in a long time, but I chatted with the guy who owns it now.
Is this the one we used to go to? In another state?
Yes, it's
Okay.
in Kansas. Yes. This is on
I know what
like
you're talking about.
87th and Santa Fe. Yeah. And we had an issue there, speaking of Punchline, of pulling
Oh, right.
having that issue pulled, and then the owner was like, we were shorted on those. And then the guy who was working the counter was like, we weren't shorted on those. Here's your, like, snuck us our copies. And then I was like, well, kind of, that guy quit who told us, because I think he felt bad about, like, he, like, morally was like, I can't do this,
Yeah.
like, on a regular basis. And so we were like, fuck this shop, and left. And I was like, I haven't been there in 5 years. I wonder what's going on. And so I went back, and new guy owns it, and I was like, maybe I'll give it a shot.
It a go.
Yeah. It was okay. They didn't get like any of the new Marvel comics, and
That's a distributor problem. I read this week that
Is
a
it?
lot of people
got shorted Marvel
experienced
comics.
that issue.
It's been ongoing
Yeah.
since Diamond announced their thing.
That shop used to be great because they carried everything.
Yeah.
And he's since scaled back, which is probably maybe smart from a business perspective, but maybe not. Like, I loved going in there.
Be like, I could buy anything.
Yeah, and it was literally like I could get any of the like new Archie books that were out if I wanted, whereas like some shops get like 2 copies of those, and
Which
then
I always did.
they're sold out immediately.
Yeah.
And I just
Greg's there.
I just liked having the option
Just waiting
of, like,
for them to open.
you could walk into this shop like on the weekend, and they would still have Mad Cave
Tons-
#1s
Tons of
and
stuff, yeah.
Titan #1s, like all these like smaller publishers at the time, especially, were like much smaller publishers.
And now you know why the guy sold it.
Yeah, so
He was broke.
Yeah.
but the new guy, I asked him what their pull service situation was.
And he goes, what's that?
Yeah, what's a pull box? They do 10% off of pulled issues, which is for somebody who kind of had enough with local comics and then tried the online thing for a bit, like not having to buy bags and boards anymore and getting 40% off my pre-orders. It's a tough pill to swallow.
Mike D got spoiled.
Yeah. I mean, you had to wait a month to get your comics
Yes, but I'm in a situation now where the place that I was pulling comics from is no longer doing pre-orders.
Because they gave him 40% off.
And I'm
in. They're not doing pre-orders anymore?
No, so their thing is they were like, our warehouse is so backed up because they didn't staff enough. And then they started taking pre-orders online, and they got a bunch of customers. I think their website, I will leave this place unnamed if we haven't named it yet. But they didn't staff enough people, created a huge backlog for themselves, hired a bunch of people to try to catch up with that backlog, and just like have not been able to sustain it. So they said, we're going to take a pause, we're going to catch up, and then see if we come back and decide to do pre-orders online again. But for me, I was like, gosh, tough pill, because all of your existing customers are going to move on and order someplace else. And now I'm finding myself in this position where I'm like, do I go back to these? I would love to support a local comic shop, but at the same time,
the discount you were getting,
I was getting made comics like half off, and I'm used to all the niceties of like being able to pick all the comics I want and showing up and knowing they're gonna be like,
not having to leave the house.
Yeah, not having to leave the house. Like the closest comic shop to me is a 20-minute drive. That one I went to today is a 20-minute drive. It's just kind of a pain in my ass.
First world problems.
But in trying to like weigh my options of what to do next, I'm finding an issue. My wife is really trying to not support businesses that have contrary political beliefs to our own. And I'm finding a lot of in researching a lot of the alternative online comic.
Mike believes that birds run on batteries. And he's having a lot of
finally
pushback on that.
Sites that a lot of them are like, I'll go ahead and say this part, Trumpers. There's a lot of online comic shops owned by very pro-Trump people that my wife is like, please no, if you can avoid it.
Right.
So I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't put in my pre-orders yet for this month, and hopefully I don't just have like a whole fucking month of comics missing. But I got to figure out where I'm going to get my comics from and how I'm going to afford if I can't do the deep discount anymore. Tough. I read a comic book this week, though, called Secret Six, out on DC, part of their all-new initiative, written by Nicole Maines with old Steven Segovia. We love him, I think, right? Good artist.
Yeah.
And
hell of a lover.
I've never read any Secret Six books before. This is like an older title, but new cast of characters.
Yeah.
And,
also never read any of that.
And a lot of the characters here are a corner of DC that I'm not super versed in. We've got Dreamer, John Kent's boyfriend, Black Alice, and then remind me who this guy is? Deadshot.
That's Superman.
Oh, and then Catman.
I'm the Catman.
Skibidi bop bop bop.
So interesting crew.
It almost seems like a sea-level Suicide Squad.
Yeah, kind of. So this is like very much following the Absolute Fallout.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Absolute Power Fallout. And where Dreamer, this character, was taken advantage of by Amanda Waller, and that greatly affected John Kent's boyfriend's family. And so there's just a lot of dynamics between a lot of these characters. So there's a lot of beef internally in the team while they're trying to figure out how to make sure Amanda Waller doesn't find her way back to the crazy amount of power she once had. Yeah, it's tough for me. I kind of feel like you have to be a John Kent Superboy ongoing fan to really easily pick this up and be all in on it. DC joke.
Did you read John Kent Superman?
I didn't.
It was really good.
I think if I read that, I would have been like, yes, more.
It was really good.
Because this read like it was a clear continuation of something. And I read all of Absolute Power. I read most of the tie-ins. So I got that part of it. But the dynamics between these characters were like a huge miss for me.
Pretty foreign, yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, I mean, like, jaunty team up with like a lot of interpersonal issues. So if that's what if you like the kind of like
For like a little jaunty team up with...
drama
Yeah.
between characters, but like cased in something that's easy to swallow, like this is definitely the book for
So
you.
is this like theater kid drama? Just like
Yeah,
pettiness?
I think I theater kid type for sure.
Okay.
Do they form like an official team? They're like, we're the Secret Six.
Yeah, what is the Secret Six? What do they
See,
do?
I don't know. I have old Secret Six comics, but I don't know the whole concept of it. If they're just like
Do you know, Vargas?
a team that gets together, and you're not supposed to. They're not letting the world know that they're a superhero team.
I always got the idea that they were like
Like an
the
X-Force?
DC Defenders,
Or Defenders. Yeah, it's a better comp.
Yeah.
but I don't know. I know that Gail Simone wrote Secret Six back in New 52 or whatever.
Yeah. Not sure.
Well, let us know.
He just did.
I will not continue reading this.
I was gonna say with that review, I don't see him getting.
But I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying, given the number of comics I purchase and what I'm like willing to add to my weekly,
I'm just saying, if I had to start paying full price for these things, I'm not gonna pick this one up.
Did you guys know comic books are $4.99?
the hell did that happen? Andy, we read the same book.
What'd you read? Doctor Strange of Asgard?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love this thing.
Here's the thing. There is a tone with a Thor book
Uh-huh.
that I cannot connect with. There is a tone with a Doctor Strange book that I cannot connect with, where it is like Thor has to speak like he is from a William Shakespeare play, and Doctor Strange has to talk like he's from a medical textbook. And put that together with the situation that they're in now, it's a hard entry point for a new reader.
I get what you're saying.
Do you agree with that?
For sure.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I used to have this when I was younger. I hated coming across Thor and Avengers things.
Right.
Just because it was like
who the
what
fuck
the
is this?
hell? Just I kind of glazed over it. Now that I've spent so much time with Thor, I love it, and I do think it's one of those books that reads almost like time does not affect this thing. Right.
Yeah.
These are timeless characters.
Which I kind of appreciate more and more as I get older, that like Thor books don't feel super of a time like some other comic books do.
This was like two Adrian Brodies talking to each other.
But Doctor Strange is tough for me, and it has always been.
I liked the book. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
I liked the book, but I liked it because I know who these people are.
Yeah.
And I'm invested in the One World Under Doom event.
Okay, sure.
If you are a new reader, which you probably are if you found this podcast, stay the fuck away from this book.
Yeah.
In the nicest way possible.
Yeah,
If you're a longtime Marvel fan, pick this fucking book
for
up.
sure.
It is very cool.
Yeah. Yes. I'll agree with all of those.
The cover's awesome.
The cover is awesome. The story is awesome. So I am not going to be reading One World Under Doom. The main line.
Really?
No.
Interesting. I'm honestly shocked by that.
I'll read it on Marvel Unlimited, but I'm not going to buy the issues.
I'd love to get into that in a Patreon episode one day.
I have a child. I have to pick and choose what I'm buying.
Get rid of the child.
I
found your problem.
Not a bad idea. So I loved the idea of Doctor Strange,
No longer Sorcerer Supreme.
no longer Sorcerer Supreme of Midgard. He is a total fish out of water in Asgard, and
he's looking for a job.
is looking for a gig. He has to pitch the idea of Asgard needs a Sorcerer Supreme, and you got one right here, baby.
He basically sets up his own job interview with Thor.
Yeah.
Of just like, I'm not the Sorcerer Supreme in Midgard anymore. Asgard needs one. When do I start?
He pulls a Lyle Landley, where he's trying to sell the monorail to Asgard.
Yeah.
And
Simpsons did it.
Simpsons did it, yeah. And on top of that, at the end of the book,
then along the way, he's like just stumbling into a random cast of Asgardians.
He's just fish out of water making friends.
Right, but like you can clearly see it's like he's assembling a team.
Yeah,
like
buddies.
a team is like being drawn towards him of just like, oh, I met this character. Oh, I met you. Like we're like forming these relationships. And then at the end, you're right,
there's an inciting incident.
Yes.
Not to spoil everything.
Yes, there's a hook for the series that's teased up that it's kind of cool. And I mean, that's really all to say about it is just like Doctor Strange interviewing for a new job in Asgard. Something terrible happens. A murder happens.
Yeah.
And will Doctor Strange be accused of this murder?
Oh, accused of.
Yeah.
So is he like...
Someone opens the door to Doctor Strange holding a dead body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like, but who among us?
So we don't know if he's going to like Sherlock Holmes his own...
We don't know. Is he going to get thrown in
We'll see.
jail? Is he going to go on the lam? Is he going to...
I don't think... Here's what I think is going to happen. I don't think he'll be put in jail. I think it will be like a Sherlock Holmes thing of Thor knowing who Doctor Strange is.
Oh, sure.
To be like, okay, I know you didn't kill this person.
Yeah.
But I need...
This book is a double Cumberbatch.
It's a double batch. You got Sherlock.
A double Cumberbatch with a Hemsworth twist.
Yeah.
I would drink that. Sounds like a delicious summer treat.
Yeah, I got a total kick out of this book. I really liked it. But you're absolutely right, Greg.
I love hearing that.
If you're looking for your first Marvel book, don't pick this one up.
Sure.
It was good though.
Yeah.
What else did you read, Greg?
I read Junie Ba's Monkey Meat, the summer batch, #1.
Junie Ba
Yes.
rules.
This is like a follow-up
To Monkey Meat.
to Monkey Meat.
Are you guys familiar with Monkey Meat?
I read this when we covered it on the podcast forever ago, and I was the odd man out. I had a really hard time enjoying it.
So, Junie Ba's Monkey Meat is now retrospectively being revered as like a classic. Like there is a lot of introspective, there's a lot of self-referential critiques on the comic book industry, on capitalism, on consumerism that people kind of hail as brilliant. I enjoyed Monkey Meat, but I am not ready to make a golden tribute of Junie Ba because of Monkey Meat. Does that make sense?
Junie Ba earned that Robin gig they got.
Yes, because of
Monkey Meat.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's
Monkey
not,
Meat walked
it's not
so
Watchmen.
Robin could run.
Yeah.
All that to say, I enjoyed Monkey Meat as a whole series. I thought it was kind of cool. The art is phenomenal. It's kind of set in like an anthology type storytelling fashion where you get random stories within the world of Monkey Meat. Monkey Meat, the summer batch, continues within the series, but they are expanding upon it and exploring the characters that you were first introduced to in Monkey Meat. And you can really tell it's critiquing superhero culture and rights to the character. You know what I mean? And like, and who owns what, and what does creative expression and all that mean, while still diving into consumerism and all that kind of stuff. This was a fantastic continuation of the Monkey Meat series. It's another. Here's what it is. If to all the old heads out there, it's kind of like Concrete. Like very introspective, very heady, beautifully drawn, an indie darling,
and so boring,
and vastly overlooked by mass media comic book enjoyers.
When you say beautifully drawn, I think people think a very specific thing when they hear beautifully drawn. Monkey Meat is like very stylistic,
That's what I mean.
thrashy, like
It is stylistic,
yeah,
well done.
simple, minimal, right?
Yeah, okay.
It's not
There's
no
no color.
Yeah, it's not an overcomplicated, overcomplex
No.
drawing style.
No, but it's like it's still done
But
very,
it's very distinct.
well.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I think that is beautiful because you're able to tell a big story with not a lot of filler,
Yeah.
which is what I mean by that. So, like, if you're looking for, I don't know, Isola, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a Disney-esque watercolored painted book. This is not that.
This is more cartoon
Right. This is a very
inspired
like
pop culture, smack you in the face.
yeah, it's a very smart book with its metaphors and its parallels, and I believe the artwork reflects that.
Yeah.
It doesn't try to exacerbate on it or make it anything more extravagant than it actually is. It's not lipstick on a pig.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
If you don't like the first Monkey Meat series,
Probably won't like
I
this.
don't know why you would be picking this book up anyway. But if you are a fan of this series, this is another fantastic continuation of it.
Cool.
Sorry if that was a lot of words for
No, that's great. It's,
for all that.
Yep. Good to know.
I have another quick one, Andy, if I
I
may
didn't read
interrupt.
Monkey Meat.
I think you should at least try it. I really
I
do.
don't know what it's about. You haven't told me.
Monkey Meat is
Greg says it's highly regarded, so you cannot borrow my copy.
Yeah,
it's
Mike's gonna pull it up and put it in a top
highly
loader
regarded
tonight.
highly regarded, not expensive. But
That's
not
the
in
case
price.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Highly
kind of
regarded
like,
by few.
Basically, it's just like a corporation comes in, depletes everything from this island, world kind of thing. A comic book is brought to life. Like they have technology to bring it to life.
I think maybe I just didn't read it enough because the first issue by itself felt very slapstick to me, and I was just like, I'm not.
And that's that's kind of like a critique of it. Is
Yeah.
like they have that lens in some of the stories that it's like a Three Stooges-esque world, but the follow-up story of the slapsticky Three Stooges, it's just like, no, something very dark is happening behind all these like slapstick yuck-em-ups.
You know what? Something that didn't serve me very well was that we used to record this podcast on Wednesday nights. So we would go to the comic shop and then we'd be scrambling to read whatever we could read
In an hour and a half.
in an hour and a half before we started recording. And so I was cramming a whole era of books for me. And
We used to cover way more books.
we used to cover
It
we used to try to cover like
every first issue.
every first issue that came out, and which is obviously not sustainable, and especially now.
or fun, as we found out.
Yes. However, I missed a lot of subtlety, I think, in comics.
Sure.
Because we were just trying to cram something down to talk about it on a podcast.
Can I suggest this?
Yeah.
Can we, because the trade's out now for Monkey Meat.
Sure.
Could we like,
Should we pass it around? We
should-
just order one.
right, let's pass it around and then cover it on a Patreon
Yeah,
episode.
sure.
Because I feel like giving it the right amount of time to breathe and like settle with us, I think we might all have different interpretations of what the book actually is too.
Yeah.
So, all right, stay tuned for a Patreon episode where we actually cover Monkey Meat Volume 1.
I'll order it.
My last review, real quick. I read the Herculoids
Hell yeah, I bought it.
on Dynamite.
I loved the There's so many good covers for it.
I got the
There is-
Magnola cover.
Did you?
There are 20 covers.
True Dynamite fashion.
Going into it, I had no idea what Herculoids was about.
Seriously? Oh, I watched the show as a kid.
After reading this first issue, I still don't. It seems to me. Here's. Tell me if I'm right.
Yeah.
These from the comic book, what I gathered, the Herculoids live on a planet that is regarded as like a paradise.
Yeah.
It's also kind of hidden. It's like a secret world that no one knows how to, or secret planet that no one knows where it's at or how to get to.
Yeah.
Well, at least in this comic. Bad guys find out where this world's at and basically invade it and start mining it for all its resources.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a Tarzan family. A dinosaur thing that shoots rocks out of a horn.
Yeah. And your globoids.
A goop family.
Two of them. Two of the globs.
Two goops.
And the baby.
So goop family. And then regular dinosaur. Big monkey.
Rock. Is he a rock monkey?
Big rock something.
Yeah.
Big rock something.
And the pterodactyl thing.
Yeah, the
pterodactyl thing.
Yeah.
Was that in the comic?
Yeah. All the cast
They
characters
covered
show
their
up.
bases, all right.
How close am I?
You got it. You got it, man.
Okay.
It is one of those things that, like, you put down all the pieces on paper and you're like, these things don't go together.
Yeah. You got peanut butter in my chocolate. Well, you got chocolate in my peanut butter.
Watching the show as a kid, I always felt that I was like missing all the prequel movies.
Yeah.
Because it felt like
It is just a bunch of stuff to look at. And just like good versus evil, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A precursor to Captain Planet.
Yeah.
And Monkey Meat.
Was it good? Did you enjoy Herculoids?
No,
No. Okay.
I didn't. But
In true Dynamite fashion, though. Fun cover.
there's a fun cover.
Fun to have it in your collection.
That's what Dynamite's tagline should be.
Yeah.
There's a cover for you.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter what's in the fucking book. There's a cover for you. I don't know. It was. I think you may have a better lens on it because you grew up with the TV show.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of cartoons as a kid. I skipped right past Herculoids every time. I didn't have Boomerang. I didn't watch that. Like, never clicked with me. I'll watch Wacky Racers all day. I'll watch Scooby Doo. Something about Herculoids, I was just like, no.
I
Get that
saw
goop thing away from me.
I saw that it was on the previews, and I was like, holy shit, I can't. I thought it was like a fever dream that I even watched this show.
Yeah.
Did
right?
you buy it?
What?
Did you buy the comic?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said that, yeah.
It's in my car.
I bought the variant. Okay, a Dynamite is giving. Is it Manon? An artist who does these really weird cartoon kind of Copic marker
Oh, okay.
drawings that I just like are so unique, and I just love the style of. I'll have to show you guys some stills of his work after this.
Cool.
But he's doing covers for Dynamite lately, and I'm just like, any new first issue that I'm like, yeah, I might as well try that. Like, I buy his cover of it.
So you got his Herculoids cover?
Yes, I did. I bought his Thundercats cover.
I love that all three of us own the Herculoids #1.
Well, mine's digital, so don't get too excited.
Okay. Well, still.
I just, it's, it sounds like if you're a fan of the series, you'll love it.
I'll read it and report back on Patreon.
Which is kind of who they're shooting for.
Obviously. For sure.
Okay.
I am excited about the Space Ghost Johnny Quest crossover.
That's going to fucking kick ass. Because that Johnny Quest book was
They're crossing over.
That Johnny
Space
Quest book
Quest.
was so good.
Oh, that's a great title.
Yeah.
Space Quest.
And it's by the Johnny Quest creative team.
Good. And the Space Ghost book's very good with David Pepose. So
I also read Star Wars Jedi Knights #1 by Mark Guggenheim and somebody. Madibek Musabekov.
Not familiar.
yeah.
Me either. Mark Guggenheim is a Marvel guy from way back. He also did a lot of Marvel TV.
Okay.
And I think he was involved in
Like old Marvel TV?
well, like early Marvel stuff.
Okay.
But I think he also did like Heroes and like
interesting.
Lost or something. Whatever. He's one of those guys, kind of like
all shows that ended terribly.
well, yeah.
Lost famously had like a million writers.
I think I was a writer of Lost.
Right.
But he was one of those
Story writing
comic
credit.
book guys like Jeff Loeb that like left comics for a while and went and did movies.
Yes.
And then came back.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is Marvel's kind of first dive into the prequel era of Star Wars.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so this is
past High Republic.
This is past High Republic, right before Episode 1.
Yeah, okay.
So Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon Jinn just graduated college. She's backpacking through Europe.
Yeah.
Backpacking through Coruscant.
But the cool part is you get to see all these like famous Jedi as they're like doing Jedi stuff and not just on the council.
Yeah.
So issue 1, there's just like a shitload of Jedi action. I mean, there is a plot.
Whoa.
It is good. You don't read it for that.
Saber on saber action.
You read it for all the Jedi doing Jedi stuff. And there's a lot of it, and it's really awesome.
Yeah.
There's Yoda. Yoder.
Yoda and Yaddle are both in here.
Yadel.
Fuck yeah.
I always said Yaddle.
Whatever.
Okay.
I say Yadel. You
say Yaddle. Tomato. Tomato.
Yadel. Yaddle. Let's end this fucking show. Ooh, Star Wars Visions. Sorry.
All right. How much do you think the first appearance of Watto costs? How much will that set you back? Has he been in a comic? He had to have been.
Watto, like the racist shop owner.
Yeah, Watto.
Mind tricks don't work on him, only money.
I think Elon Musk always says that too. This is cool. Whoa, evil Yoda?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Hey, what the hell is this?
These are visions that Obi-Wan is receiving as he's training with Yoda, that the Force is giving him, and Yoda says they are.
What did you see?
They are visions of the past and also the future that may or may not happen.
Oh, so this is Star Wars is timeless.
Kind of. And then you get this thing at the end too. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I would recommend this for anyone who is new to Star Wars comics or old to Star Wars comics or whatever. If you're
old to Star Wars comics.
well, I mean, if you've read all the Star Wars stuff, you're gonna like this.
Yeah.
It was very good. I had a blast with it.
It looked really cool. I do feel like I wish I had enough time and money to like just do a huge deep dive into the Star Wars comic books. It is a very large blind spot that I wish I knew more about because I really wanted to get into the Dark Droid stuff that they did. They did a crazy cool bounty hunter, huge event like 2 or 3 years ago that I really wanted to get into. Crimson something that they did.
Dawn.
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn looked badass.
Crimson Dawn was really cool. I liked it.
All the Jason Aaron stuff. Like it just seems like there is and was a giant moment in Star Wars comics that I just missed.
Yeah. I read all the High Republic stuff.
Oh yeah, how was it?
Really good.
Yeah,
Really enjoyed it.
Charles Soule.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just getting Watto in Legacy of Vader.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
There we go.
Well, get it, man.
I have to get my hands on Watto's
First
first
Watto.
appearance.
Gotta
Can
get my
you
hands on
believe
Watto?
Vader and Watto together?
Yes.
Can you imagine that pairing?
Finally?
Space Hitler and the racist guy? Yeah. I can absolutely see them.
Space
They're
Hitler
having a
and
reunion.
Space Mussolini.
Right?
A reunion? Yeah, that's right. He's going to be like, remember when you owned me?
Yeah, right.
And Watto's going to be like, wah!
Yeah. Where's my money?
Business is business.
Okay.
Young Anakin.
This is the book I'm excited to convince Mike D to read.
Okay.
Mothra, Queen of the Monsters.
Yeah. I mean, the cover is TITS.
Buddy boy, flip through the art. Because Sophie Campbell wrote it, did the cover, did the art.
Stapled it, shipped it out.
And
Gorge.
boy, it is
Wow.
just top to bottom gorgeous.
Yeah.
This is
Whoa.
Very fun.
an incredibly rushed issue. There's a lot of big ideas in here that she has to get through quickly because it's an IDW Godzilla book, and I'm sure they were like, you have 4 issues.
You know what it looks like it's missing a lot of?
What?
Mothra.
That's correct. Mothra dies on page 2.
Yeah, right?
But
I just saw the last page.
the story is that the Mothra is defeated. Page 1, whatever. And
Little pupa.
There
little
are-
We got a
Mothra
Grogu.
pu-
We got a
Mothra
Grogu
pupa.
Mothra.
there are these twins that think the other has died. And one of them is saved by Mothra's avatars, and the other one isn't. And whatever, yada yada. The twins have to go back in time.
Yaddle, yaddle. We should let Andy go first because you and me get too slap happy
Yeah.
when we're close to an hour.
They have to go back in time and save a Mothra egg.
Yes,
That's,
I'm all in.
That's the pitch.
Cool. Yeah,
I'm
that
fucking
does
all in
sound
on this
fun.
book, actually.
Yeah,
And if the whole book looks like this, that's worth the
totally.
cost of it.
I agree with that.
Andy, we always give you so much guff, but you bring solid shit every week.
Yeah.
I think it's just you're right. We need to let you go first because by the hour mark, we're just like, I got about 14 Yaddle jokes I can rattle off real quick. What else has this person done?
I have no idea, no clue.
Sophie
but
Campbell.
I saw the cover alone, and I was like, I have to buy that book.
Yeah. Cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really good. I totally recommend it. I'll say this, and I'm gonna jinx it, but like all the Godzilla books that I've read recently that I've been like, Godzilla, they've all been insanely good.
We are being inundated by Godzilla.
We are, but it's all quality content, and
Yeah.
that's what's terrifying.
Yeah.
I did also purchase Godzilla versus Chicago and have not read it yet.
Okay, and what publisher is this on?
IDW.
This is IDW.
How do we
Okay.
get Godzilla versus Kansas City?
Dude, well, so Godzilla versus Chicago is all done by Chicago creators.
Okay.
And the next one they're doing, Godzilla versus LA, is all going to benefit LA wildfire relief.
Oh, cool.
Can the story be that Godzilla started it?
Okay, was the
Is Godzilla a Jewish space laser?
the F. Scott Fitzgerald Godzilla thing,
Godzilla Masterpiece Theater.
Monster Piece.
Monster Piece Theater, that wasn't on IDW, was it? It was. Okay, so IDW.
The logo is different. That's why you were confused.
IDW has the comic rights to the Godzilla property. Marvel owns IDW, and that's why they can do these crossovers.
Who's the?
I mean,
Because Marvel's doing a bunch of Godzilla crossovers,
well,
right?
but DC did the one last year.
Oh, so maybe
They just license it out.
they license
There's
it
probably a deal.
on loan.
No, actually, I'm sorry. The Godzilla that DC did was the legendary Godzilla, the American movie Godzilla.
Okay.
And Warner owns Legendary.
Yes.
So I don't know if does Marvel own IDW? There's no way.
I think Disney might.
Really?
Well, because IDW is the publisher that does those Star Wars adventure books. And
That's true.
Disney and Marvel do Star Wars, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I think they're at a
Somehow
minimum in
affiliated.
cahoots.
Yeah. Somehow affiliated.
Yeah.
So, yes, all I know is IDW owns the licensing to Godzilla.
Yeah.
Whether they farm that out to Marvel to do those crossovers or whatever. But
Man, that's got to be public domain imminently.
Godzilla,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. 1953, I think, was the 4.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, it seems so much older than that.
Since time itself.
Since time
Here
immemorial.
are some of the main majority owners of
Toho.
Godzilla. Toho, Legendary Pictures, Warner Brothers, and Toho and Legendary have had a mutual beneficial agreement with both producing successful Godzilla films. For example, Legendary's Godzilla in 2014 and Toho's Shin Godzilla in 2016.
Yeah.
So I think how they're getting around some of this stuff is there are different
Iterations.
Godzilla that are
Yeah.
represented.
Yeah. So like all
That is
the IDW,
murky.
the IDW like kaiju verse that they're coming out with
Yeah.
is Toho official.
OG Godzilla.
Yeah.
Which is like Mothra is distinctly this
Toho.
brand of
Yeah.
Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, MonsterVerse
Whatever,
/
yeah.
Do you remember the
Sin.
old Godzilla video game where you would like pop to different cities and you would fight the different kaiju?
Yes.
I remember being like kind of confounded by it, but I like loved it, but I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. I mean, I've played a couple of Godzilla games
Yeah.
and they're all that ill.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's more about getting kids excited by like the box art and the
Yeah, of course.
how cool Godzilla is than like the actual execution of the game, maybe.
Yeah. So, Mothra, Queen of the Monsters,
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend.
So there are I'm finding a bunch of articles that have just like IDW has a Godzilla and Marvel has a Godzilla, and they just are existing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm finding a bunch of articles that are just like, who would win between the two?
I mean, maybe Marvel's Godzilla is because Marvel printed the original Godzilla comics. Back in the 80s.
That's right.
So, like, that exists. DC is owned by Warner. They own Legendary Pictures. So that exists. And maybe IDW has its own Toho thing.
Yeah.
And that exists. Who knows?
What's that comic I had? It's like Gorgon or something like that. And
Goro?
Goro. Is that what it is? And
Yeah.
it's like some entertainment company's attempt to make an early Godzilla clone.
Yeah.
It looks like none of the comic books are canon.
Yeah, except for the upcoming IDW.
Talking to
ones.
your mic, Greg.
I'm talking to it right now. People can hear me. Look at my volume. Look at my peeking.
Because you're looking up into the mic.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
All right. That's it. That's all the books I read.
All right. Well, I will talk right into the microphone when I say this.
Thank you.
We love you. And
We're
we'll
in
see you
love with
next
you.
week. Bye.